Hey, this is Andrew Brown from the AWS Cloud Project Bootcamp, bringing you another video. And this time we are working on CI/CD again, but we are doing it with CloudFormation. So this should be quite fun. And what we'll do, well, I have to decide here for a moment. Now, I did talk about doing the Cognito stuff, but I think I want to just do the CI/CD next. Even if we don't have our front end set up, I just kind of want to do it. And I'm noticing it's the wrong. I do this all the time. I'm sure you do it all the time too. But I'm going to hit stop here because I chose, well, maybe you don't because you only have a main branch, but I'm going to go down to here to 10 again. And I'm going to go ahead and launch this. I'll be back here in a second when the environment is launched, okay? All right, so now I definitely have things running. We're going to make our way over to our, what directory are we going to? We're doing the CI/CD pipeline, so we're going to go down to bin directory here. We're going to go into our CloudFormation directory, and we're going to make a new file here. This is going to be CICD deploy, and we're going to go ahead and grab one. Should be similar. This one's going to be okay. I think the database is fine. Well, maybe not the database. It always has this thing in here. I'm going to grab the networking instead. Yeah, I think we'll grab that one instead. We'll go over here, and I'm going to go ahead and paste that in here. Okay, then this one's going to be Crutter CICD. CICD. Okay, and then over here, this is going to be CICD, CICD. So that looks really great there. Up here in the AWS, we're going to go into our CloudFormation. We'll make a new folder here. We'll say CICD. We'll make a new file here. It's called template.yaml. And we'll say config.toml. All right, and so we'll get going here. So I'm trying to remember, how did we make this before? I think what we did, I don't think we used the CLI. I think we did all ClickOps, didn't we? So we'll go down here, check our bin directory. Because I don't think there's any CI/CD stuff in here. Let's check the back end. No, so I think that what we did was we did completely or fully ClickOps, and so that's how we're going to have to configure that there. So I'm just going to go here and grab the usual stuff. So just go ahead and grab this stuff here. I'm just going to go here, grab that, and go into our CI/CD pipeline, and just paste this in here. We'll call this Crutter CI/CD, and this will be. Oh, we don't need that. Well, actually, we might need some kind of parameters at some point. Let's just say CICD up here. Okay, we'll go over to our template and we'll just start bringing stuff in. So the first thing we're obviously going to need is this line here. We'll also want to have a description of the stuff that we're going to be provisioning. So we need probably a CodeStar connection, version 2 to GitHub. We're going to need a code pipeline. We're going to need code deploy. No, not code deploy. Yeah, we just need code pipeline. Oh, sorry, code build. Code build. And there probably is other things in there like steps and stuff like that, but I'm not exactly sure what those resources are called right now. So we'll work that as we go through it. There's probably things like permissions and stuff like that. But anyway, this will be the start of it. And we'll go down here. We'll get in our parameters as per usual. We are going to definitely have to, I actually don't know what we'll have to bring in here, but we'll have to bring in something for sure. We'll have our resources here. Okay, and let's go get to it. So we'll make our way over to the documentation by saying code pipeline, CFN examples. There's an example that I wouldn't mind that. We don't really need an example. I mean, I have an example already. If we want to go ahead and grab that just to make our lives a bit easier, I think that's what I'll do. Because my examples are pretty good because they've run in production. So I know that they are a good basis to start with. So go over here to Fargate CI/CD service. So this one actually would be very similar to what we're doing here. This one is actually using a nested stack, which that seems like fun. We should do that. So I'll go into this pipeline here. And, oh, it's interesting I use this. So, yeah. I know the hyphen probably like removes like new spaces or stuff. Doesn't really matter. But in here, we're doing GitHub branch, GitHub repo. We probably do need those. So those are parameters that I'm going to bring over. Okay, you bring those over too. We probably, yeah, we'll need the cluster stack and the service stack. So we'll bring those over as well. Whoops. Okay. We're going to need some resources here. So this here is using nested stack. So nested stack is like when you have CloudFormation that you want to reuse. So let's say you make like a code build YAML template. You want to reuse it kind of like a module over and over again. You can reference that. And I think that would be a good idea to do that. And this is exactly what this does. It bakes the image. So I'm going to bring this down here below. And I realize that you either have to type this out or you have to look at my code and copy and paste it in. But what this is going to do, it's going to say, we have a type of CloudFormation stack. We're looking at nested code build YAML. And these are the parameters that are going to get passed in through. This Bootstrap stack has stuff in it, but we'll take that out because I don't think we need that. Bootstrap, you know when we created the CFN artifacts bucket, that's your Bootstrap stack. But I don't like cross-references of those anymore because in practice I found that it just made too many things to be coupled. So I just stopped doing that. But let's go over to here. And again, I know you don't have access to this, so you just have to kind of watch along and paste it in. But in here we have our nested, and I think that's a great idea for the structure. So I'm going to go here, make a new folder called nested. That way we know it's nested. I'm going to make a new one here called codebuild.yaml. And in here we'll start doing our code build. So similar story. So we're going to bring in over this here. Okay. We'll go down here and we will want some parameters. Just like before, we'll want our resources as well. We might even want outputs, I don't know. And so let's just see what we have here. So I noticed over here, I mean, we passed in the cluster. Why is did we not pass it in over here? Let's go back over here to our new one. Let's close this one out. Oh, I thought we passed something in here. I guess we didn't. So there's no parameters being passed in there. I wasn't sure. Oh, well, we did. We have the Bootstrap one, but we don't need that. So that's okay. We'll go back over here and so we don't need this, at least not yet. We'll probably need a log group, so we'll bring that over. So this is going to be Crutter. This is repackage. This is more like bake AMI. Okay, and then there's the code build image. So this one is using Amazon Linux 2, 3.0. There might be newer ones. So let's go take a look and see what we actually have in AWS, since things are always changing. So we'll just go over to code build and figure it out that way. We'll create a build project. I'm going to just try to find that here. It's somewhere in here. Runtime, standard, image. So it looks like we have 4.0. Corretto is Java. It's a Java runtime that AWS has made. So 4.0 seems to be the latest. So I think that's what I would like to do. You can always use the latest runtime here because there's 4.0 and then there's these subversions. I think it by default sorry about that. It always uses the latest there. So this is easy. We'll just go here and change this to a 4. I'm going to go back over here. We have compute type. We'll bring that in. We'll bring that in as well. Okay. General one small seems fine to me. I don't think that's changed. Code build timeout in minutes. That sounds like a good idea. We do want to specify the timeout. 5 is fine, I think. The build spec YAML. So if this is living in a different directory, then we can override it. It probably does. So it's a good idea that we do override that to what we want it to go to. And now we're down into our resources. So here we have a code build project, and then we have a IAM role for this. What is this? The execution role? What do they call this? It's a code build role, I guess. So I'm going to go over here, go to the top, and we're going to just go to our description. And we're going to say code build used for baking images for Fargate service, or for containers. Code build used for baking container images. There we go. And so underneath we have a code build project that we're making. We have also the code build project role. Probably that's what it is. And I'm going to go back over here and we will take a look at it here. It looks pretty good to me. I don't really feel that I would want to walk through all this. I know we've been doing that in quite a few videos, but I just don't feel the need to do that because I know this one is very solid. So what I'm going to do is copy this in here. And what I'm going to recommend that you do is you're going to have to go, when I push this, you're just going to go and copy and paste this code. But we are going to walk through it still. But, you know, I just feel that you've gotten a lot of experience walking through this stuff, and I don't feel that I need to do that with you. And I don't think it's going to unveil anything new. But anyway, so here it's a little bit different. We know that it will use the name of the repo and stuff like that, so I don't feel that I need to have that value in. So I'm just going to take that out unless it wants it in there. But we'll quickly walk through this. So we have the timeout. Oh, it's a service role. That's what it is. Privilege mode is needed to build Docker images. So that's something that's very important for us to set. So that's set there. And we know this because when we were doing code build, we checkboxed it on. Without that, it can't build the images. We passed in our compute, our image. We're using a Linux container. We're configuring our logs. The stream name here says repackage. I'm not sure why we do that if we have it here. So we might say rebake. Or it's not rebake, but yeah, bake and maybe bake service. And so here, maybe the stream name, we might want it to be like backend or front end. So I'm going to go up here, going to add another one. Log stream name. And I'm going to just say backend Flask. Okay. Log stream name. We'll look at the IAM role. So assume role, it's code build that wants to do it. Here, this is for getting access to the S3 artifact. I'm just trying to think here. Why do we need that? Because this would be useful if we needed something to download, or sorry, if we were placing something in the artifact. But we're just building out an image. So I don't think that we need to do this. This, I think, is not supposed to be here. I'm going to take it out. Well, let's double check what we did. Because what I was using it for might have, like that said repackage. So I was downloading something and then repackaging and putting S3 for assets. And so this one was more generic for its use case. And that's not something that we need to do. So I'm just going to go double check our code build server and look at permissions. So I don't think we need that for this. We'll go down here. We'll say build details. Here's that service role. And I'm going to go up here and just call this service role. Actually, I'm going to leave that out of there. I don't care. And so in here, we have a bunch of different permissions. So we have SSM full access, ECR registry power. We added a lot of stuff here because we weren't sure what we needed to get this to work. I don't think we need all of these. And so the advantage of copying and pasting this code is it's going to pare it down to exactly what we need, I think. So yeah, we don't need this. We don't need S3. This was for my specific use case. But this is the stuff we need, the ECR policy. So that's the stuff we need for that. We need the VPC policy. That's the stuff we need for that. This one here, it's good if you specify a specific one, but I think I had some trouble there, so I'll take that out. This base policy was for getting secrets from Secrets Manager. We don't download secrets from Secrets Manager, so we can take that out of here. I would say we just take out this part because we do want to be able to create logs. And then I could change this to logs. BBC policy. Yeah, that seems fine to me. Down below, do we want to output the code build project name? Probably, because that's often how you reference other ones, and we're probably going to reference it in our top layer here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just watching the time here. Yeah, we're okay for time. But what we'll do is go back over to this one here, and I'm going to go back up a layer here. Notice we have notify as well, so I was trying to definitely do more there. Because it would be nice if we got notified when our repo updates. It's something that I do often, like if you're using Microsoft Teams or Slack or stuff like that, you want to get that notification, and so that's what that was there. I'm not sure if we're going to do that here. You can see it's commented out because I think at one point we were switching providers and we never added it back in, and then we get updates a different way. We get through Rollbar or something like that. But anyway, the next thing we want to do is add our CodeStar connection. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And we'll go back to our template here. I'm going to paste that in here. I would like to grab some of these things and bring in the documentation. So if we do need to look it up and change stuff, we can do that. So we'll bring in this one here. We'll do our CodeStar connection. We'll do this. Up here, we'll get the code build project here. We've gotten this before, but we'll go grab IAM-role. Again, just so that if we need to read anything or click through, we can just do control-click to get to it. Code build, yeah, that's called build project resources. So those are all set up. We'll go back to our template. So yeah, we're creating CodeStar connection because that's what it's using. We should actually double check this to see what kind it is, because there are two types, and I want to use version 2 if possible. So here, I just want to see, this is connection name, provider type. I believe that this is version 2. I really do think that CodeStar connection is version 2. I think we said this earlier in the course, but I'm pretty certain that it is. Again, I don't think we need to do the connection name there. I think it's okay. Sometimes there's cases where you want to override them because they're just not human readable. But I'm just going to leave that out because it does already take the stack name in consideration and truncate it, which I think that I like that it's doing that. We're going to go back over to here. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff here going on. So we'll bring in each part of this at a time, because we might not need everything in here. So we have our pipeline. And so for our properties, there's the artifact store. We are not using artifact store, so I don't think we need to set that. We are going to need a roll arm, so we'll bring that in. This will be under properties here. And so now we have our stages. So here I have an application source, what we'll need. We have a build image container, and then we have a deploy. This deploy is using ECS, so that is correct. So yeah, I guess it's not that complicated. We do need to grab those. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. Okay. For the pipeline here, I'm just going to go ahead and get the documentation for that, unless we already did that. I thought we just did that. I guess I did, but I did not place that there. I'm going to tell you that code pipeline CloudFormation is quite the headache to figure out, because there are these generic sources. I just want to show you this because I remember this being a bit of a headache. But when you get into stages, you go into stage declaration, and then you get into actions, and it just becomes very generic. It's very hard to determine what you have to do for this, because it can have different properties for the configuration based on what you're using. So I'm not sure if they've improved the documentation since last time I looked at this. But there was like a page that tells you, yeah, maybe it's here. It tells you like what configuration options you have, because it's conditional based on what stage or provider you're using. So just understand that that part can be very difficult. If you're thinking of stretch goals, you could do things like Jenkins or stuff like that if you wanted to use code build instead. But let's just take a look here. So we have the source here, application source, that's fine. The action type ID is going to be category source. We're using a CodeStar connection as a provider. This was the stuff that was really hard, figuring out all these options. This says version 1. I want to use version 2, but I don't know if that actually means that it's version 1 or version 2. So this is where we might want to go ahead and start digging. So where is this here? We have action type ID. Go back up here. And we have category. So what's version here? The provider of the service being used by the action. Valid providers are determined by the action category. For example, an action in the deploy category type has a provider code deploy. We'll go take a look at the types that there are. For source, we were looking for what? CodeStar connection. So let's click into this one here. I just want to know if there's a version 2 in here. Yeah, so I'm not sure if there's actually, like there is a version 2 of GitHub, but I still think that, oh, down here it says, GitHub and Enterprise Cloud through the version 2 is provided through provided option in the code pipeline console. If your repo is in the GitHub org, you must do that. So I'm not 100% sure if we can make this version 2. Because notice it just shows that, and it doesn't really describe that. So I'm not, like, even though we know there's version 1, version 2 when we are setting that up, I'm just saying that I'm not 100% sure if we switch this to 2, if it will use 2. So we can do that, but we just have to make note that we might switch that back to 1, and it has no relation to what we see in the console, what we see in the CICD, and that's something I'm not 100% sure about, which is fine. So down below here, we have the connection ARN, so that's from that, full repo name, that's fine, branch name, that's fine. The repo name, well, the branch should be default, we'll just say main. For me, it's a little bit trickier because I need to always merge into production. So I think I made a prod, did I not? Yes, I did. So we'll make it prod, and you should have a prod as well. And then the repo here is going to just be whatever mine is. So this would be, Omen King / AWS Bootcamp. Just want to make sure it's correct here. 2023. We'll go ahead and grab that there and paste that in there. And just give me a second, okay? All right, so, Baco's just showing me this here, which is for lunch, and I want to go pick that up. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to be back here. We're going to continue through this, okay? What I'll do is, for the time being, I'm going to commit the code, WIP CICD, and I'll see you back here in a bit once I fill my stomach with some tasty food, okay?